Debut in Taurus. He drives for his uncle, Jack Willman Sr. And there is a look at the Gravedigger, a 1950 Chevrolet panel truck. Haven't seen Dennis Anderson for a while. He is a crowd favorite.
Out of Kill Devil Hill, North Carolina, when the two red lights come on the Gravedigger, that means he's 100%. You're going to see two Sky pilots right now. Both of these guys love to fly their monster trucks, and the people in Ohio are going to get to see the best.
What's going to happen in the second half of the run? It is, oh, hang on, Dennis Anderson. He almost high-headed that thing. Dennis Anderson, both those guys had trouble getting stopped. What a great ride, but Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger, takes the victory.
Who is it? Who they say?
Well, we'll show you again. I said it was Dennis Anderson. It was indeed a photo finish. Jack Willman, the uncle of the driver of Taurus, was wondering who actually won it, but right here you'll see in a photo finish, Dennis Anderson by perhaps a wheel. Dennis Anderson out of the Gravedigger to talk to Army.
Dennis, is monster truck racing kind of like riding a bicycle? Once you learn how to do it, you develop a style, and that wins for you?
Yeah, it really is. You know, it's a little different when you jump in a new truck with a new style suspension on it, and this does have a new style suspension, which I had another truck before, but I'm still getting the feel of this truck, but feels pretty good to me right now. It's kind of, it wants to gyro and roll over to the side, but we'll get that figured out.
You know, the other drivers were walking back in the pit area a minute ago, and boy, they were just shaking their head, and they says, man, the kid has still got it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it makes me feel good because I get down there on the other end and feels pretty wild. I mean, I feel fortunate that I can pull out of what I'm doing and get her landing on all fours, because I'd hate to wipe her out here today.
Tell you what now, can you expect anything else to happen when you're talking to the Gravedigger? You are wild. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks.
Army, I don't know how he ever got that truck under control, because he was well out of control down there in the shutdown area.
National champion first year out. Took a year off after he won the national championship for the birth of his daughter. Gary Cook welcomed him with open arms back into the driver's seat, but who are they going to go up against? The red light bandit himself out of Kill Devil Hill, North Carolina, Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger.
There's a word in motorsports. We call it sandbagging. Dennis Anderson has never heard of that word. He never sandbags. Full tilt all the way. Look at that wheel stand. And Dennis Anderson, was he disqualified? Did he get out of the run there? I'm not sure.
I can't tell. The dust came up.
He won if he didn't get disqualified.
What a, you talk about crowd appeal.
Let's watch again. Now, Army, watch.
When he comes over the jump, the front feet stay out of the water. He's putting power to the rear wheels. Now the front end settles down, and what time is it? Sky time.
Now, is he out of bounds when he crosses the finish line? Well, apparently they say no. Dennis Anderson has won it, but it was a good run for the equalizer, so David Morris could come back in the semifinal round as the fast loser. That was a good run for the equalizer. But the victory goes to that 1950 Chevrolet panel truck, the Gravedigger.
These people in Columbus, Ohio are seeing some classic monster truck racing.
Well, these jamborees offer a host of activities for not only the truck lover, but the entire family as well. So to find out more, please call or write the Special Events Promotion Company, and we love being here in Columbus, Ohio. And so do all these great motorsports fans, as we are ready now for semifinal action. Let's take a look. It will be Barefoot, the fast qualifier, against the Gravedigger, and the equalizer, your fast loser, against your second fast qualifier, Bigfoot and Andy Brass. And there is a look right there at Barefoot with Fred Schaefer, the Dodge, against the Chevy, the old Chevy of Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger.
Spell it W-A-R, war. Watch it.
It's the Digger. The Gravedigger takes the victory over the fast qualifier. A bit of a surprise, Army?
I don't know. I am just thrilled. I cannot believe those guys ran that hard, that close to each other. That was controlled mayhem, if you will.
Let's take a look again. Now, here's the wheel stand in no man's land. He's back on the throttle and over the second set of cars, but watch as he lands on that left rear. He actually pops the tire off the rim. We'll have a chance to look again. Watch off the right side of your screen. Right there, he pops the air right out of that tire. So let's go down now and talk to Dennis Anderson.
Dennis, everybody was worried about the Dodge. He didn't seem to have you bothered a bit today. You just kind of thumped him good out there.
Yeah, I tell you, you know, he qualified pretty good, and both of us been running some good times, and I was kind of fearing that Dodge, too, because I tell you, he's got a big old motor packed underneath the hood of that thing, but now I found out, I said his motor looks big, but his motor isn't any bigger than mine.
Shootout, it's the Gravedigger with Dennis Anderson against this driver right here, David Morris, in equalizer. Now remember, these two met in round 2 with Digger taking the measure. And of course, is the fast loser. Here it is earlier on tape. The fast loser in that round was David Morris in the equalizer, so he was able to advance in this particular 12-truck format.
Equalizer knows he may be going up against a wounded Gravedigger. The word we're getting is when the Gravedigger landed sideways in the previous round, he blew the left rear tire off the rim, as you pointed out to the people, and they are not sure whether or not he's got enough air in that tire to hold the horsepower.
We will soon find out, and in fact, Gravedigger does have a problem off the line. David Morris will take the victory here in Columbus in the equalizer.
Boy, you don't blink in this sport. Morris left.
Well, the Digger will complete the run well off the pace, but the victory here in Columbus, Ohio will go to the equalizer and David Morris.
Well,
and there is a wounded Gravedigger.
You know, what can you say? Take the bitter with the sweet.
Just a case of not having enough air in that left rear?
Yeah, you know, and it's funny because really they only run about 6 pounds of air to start with. But when they blew that tire out before, they just didn't. If they'd had another 30 seconds or a minute to put some more air in that tire, they'd have been all right. But, you know, you live and die by the clock.
But Army, as always, Dennis Anderson gave the crowd his very best shot. It wasn't quite good enough today. There's a look at his slow run across the cars. But here's our victor, David Morris with Army Armstrong.
Between the Kodiak and the Gravedigger. Now the Gravedigger, piloted by Dennis Anderson, he's back after a lengthy time off, and he's at a Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, ready to go with the Digger. Kodiak being piloted today by Mark Bendler. Mark coming with us for the first time on Monster Truck Challenge out of New Berlin, Wisconsin. So it's Bendler and Kodiak, Anderson and Gravedigger. The red headlights on Digger, and Digger gets the hole shot. But hole shots count in straight line racing. This is a figure-8 course. They come around the first turn. They'll be approaching that first set of cars. Look for a good jump. The Digger has the lead. Whoa! He clears the entire set of cars. Which track we gonna take? Bendler having a little trouble staying on course, keeping control of the truck, and the Digger a slight lead as they come around and head to the cars one more time. Whoa! What a finish! Kodiak comes apart, but look, oh! Dennis Anderson runs out of track space. Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger, your winner. I hope he can come back with us. We'll check with him later on. They're lining up right now. The equalizer going against Fairly Tame. But the question is, what happened to Dennis Anderson? Jim Clark's with him. Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger, first of all, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just fine. Smashed into the wall there, and I clipped my ribs in the back of my seat and just knocked the wind out of me for a few minutes, but I'm all right now.
What the heck happened?
Well, I tell you, I come around at the last turn there. My truck just felt like it was trying to drift out. And I thought old Kodiak there was getting ready to blow me away. So once I got the truck straightened out, I just smashed that big motor. And it shot me over the cars and kind of surprised me. I didn't think I was going to get that much air, but I had to deal with it because it was too late to back out. Once I hit the ground, I had to tap the throttle a couple times to make sure I was going to be in control. And it was just going so fast on that slick asphalt, I had to lock it up and slide it sideways and take to the wall.
Good to see that.
Up. The big stories are the Kill Devil Hill Gravedigger. Lyle Hancock driving Dennis Anderson's truck is going to try to play the role of the spoiler. Keep an eye open for those 2 red lights. That's a sign he's 100%. Speaking of 100%,
King Crunch will take on American made in round 1, and Barefoot Fred Schaefer against a new truck, Overkill, the 8th fastest qualifier. And there is a look at Lyle Hancock in the Gravedigger, the 1950 panel wagon of Dennis Anderson. One of the most popular trucks on the circuit. Just take a look at all the Gravedigger t-shirts up in the grandstand. Earlier this afternoon, Army Armstrong cut up with Lyle Hancock.
Anytime you step up and go into the driver's seat of another established vehicle, there's got to be a lot of pressure on you. Lyle, you took Dennis Anderson's place on the circuit. Tough shoes to fill?
Man, I tell you what, he must wear number 15 because everybody in that grandstands expect nothing but the best out of this truck, and sometimes it's real hard to fill those shoes as you're putting it. We always go out there and try to do the best show we can, and the number one thing we always got in mind is no matter what happens out there, the people in the grandstands are the most important things to us. We always make sure we do the best show we can for them.
Good thought to remember as we take a look at UFO. This is showbiz, Army Armstrong.
Gary, you're exactly right. It's showbiz until the light goes green, and Bob Fisher's going to prove that. And he's teamed up with Cunningham Competition to try to find the horsepower to beat the Gravedigger. New Jersey in the far lane, the Red Light Bandit from Killdale Hill, North Carolina in the near lane. Gary, first run of the day.
Lyle Hancock, the 1950 Chevy panel wagon, and he gets the whole shot. He cuts a good light. Look at the air time as he takes the victory.
Gary, it's amazing. The chassis on the truck seems to be working perfect off that right lane. It's not touching the cars a bit. It seems to be clearing everything. I think the Gravedigger may have the hot setup.
Well, watch him cut this good light right here. He got the whole shot, and he won it right there at the start. A lot of air time. Now let's go down and talk to Lyle Hancock.
Lally, I know you weren't here last year, but everybody found out the right lane was the place to be. I think it took you just this one run to find out that's the place to be this year, too.
I watched everybody running over there in the left lane yesterday, and by chance, the way we drew the numbers on it, I got to pick the right lane to make my qualifying in. My first pass wasn't very good. I missed the second set of cars, but, you know, it's like anything else. You got to get a little used to the track. It felt good today. We made a gear ratio change last night, and I was actually leaving the line too hard last night, so I was putting the truck a little out of shape. As you seen it out there, I mean, it felt good.
You notice that, Gary?
John, as we see Andy Brass put Gary Porter on the trailer, we have two trucks we've talked about earlier on the sidelines. Both Snakebite and Gravedigger are out of the competition following a freak occurrence in the second round. Both trucks broke at almost the same time.
It was really interesting. They both go to the starting line literally on full kill. Neither one was going to roll over for the other one. They came off the line so hard, both trucks at the same time exploded their transmission. Gary, in order to win a race, you got to finish it. Neither vehicle did, so that brought up a unique situation where the two quick losers from the previous round who thought they were out. Green color on the line right now. Watch your lights. Watch your lights.
The Gravedigger, the 1950 Chevy panel wagon, driven by Lyle Hancock.
Gary, I find it awfully interesting that these monster trucks are starting to develop their own personality, and probably the two most popular trucks on the circuit draw each other in the first round. The Gravedigger out of North Carolina in a far lane, powered by Chevrolet. Who does he go up against? Bob and Marilyn Chandler, Big Blue, Bigfoot, Ford. Look at the race.
Going to be all Ford. Big Blue, Bigfoot takes the victory over Hancock and the Gravedigger. So Bigfoot will advance. Andy Brass is the fast qualifier from yesterday's round of qualifying, so he will advance to round 2 competition. He takes the measure of Lyle Hancock. There's a look at Hancock in the cockpit of the Gravedigger. Obviously, the fans respond as we take a look at the rain falling here at Bloomsburg. They're back there under shelter, so they're dry. We'll take a look again now, and it was right off the start. Andy Brass cut a good light, and it was all Bigfoot as he takes the victory. Let's go down trackside and visit with Andy Brass. Colt Cobra walks away with the big thumbs up. He is certainly a factor on the tour this season. And here's the guy who's a real factor. We saw the green frame there of the Gravedigger in the far lane. That is Lyle Hancock. He is a hired gun. Dennis Anderson chose Lyle Hancock to drive an all-new Gravedigger race truck, and he pulls up alongside the Mo Power barefoot of Fred Schaefer.
We told you that there was going to be a ritual before the starting line. Drag racers are familiar with it. They call it burnouts. We're going to call it dry hops here, but every monster truck, like I say, is trying to dig their own hole in order to get bite. Dodge near side, Gravedigger far lane.
Whoa, almost too close to call. Who won it, Army?
I don't know, with that showdown there, it put on a show all its own. It is slippery down there.
There is the green frame we saw just moments ago of that the race truck, Gravedigger, the latest generation of the Gravedigger truck. And there is the Dodge Barefoot of Fred Schaefer. And we still do not have the official word. Let's take a look from this angle.
Watch the front of each truck. One's up and one's down. Keep an eye on this. Right now, Gravedigger, the nose is up. See, the Dodge is down. Now the Dodge goes up, Gravedigger settles down. They both pull a trigger on the finish line. You call it.
Well, looks like Fred Schaefer may have won it by a foot or two. Now, from that angle, you see that the Gravedigger was not real straight. Now, watch again. Watch this angle here. Watch the Gravedigger in the left lane. He's out of shape right there.
Yeah, but those guys, they live out of shape, it seems like. I still don't know who won the race.
Fred Schaefer has been declared the winner. Fred Schaefer actually won the race, and from that one angle, you can see that Fred was very straight. The Gravedigger was not. We take a look at...
Speaking of racers, Kirk Dabney comes in. The truck is not new. It's been around for a while. Dabney's been around, but the red light tells you the man from Kill Devil Hill sitting in the other lane.
Well, this is the new race truck for Gravedigger, indicated by that green frame.
It's kind
Lyle
of funny.
Hancock is the driver. This is the Dennis Anderson lookalike. He's a hired gun. He was hired by Dennis to drive the Gravedigger.
I believe that's pure coincidence, because this guy is a monster truck driver. He's out of the Northwest. Anderson knows if he's going to go racing, this is the good guy to put in the seat. And this is why right here. What, Dabney's running him tough.
Oh, an upset. You have to call that an upset, as Kirk Dabney out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, knocks out the Gravedigger.
And Kirk Dabney's sponsor, PENDA, is right here. If you're going to do good, this is a time to do good. Look at it. He's pumped up.
But this has to be rated as an upset.
Well, you know, now Dabney's a player. He's been around a while. I'm not taking anything away from the Kill Devil Hill gang, but Dabney just thumped them on the starting line and then Malinared it on the other end and flew to the finish.
Well, let's go trackside, Army.
Get squared away. I don't think time is going to be a factor here. I think they got about 15 or 20 minutes between the next round and this round, but definitely a problem.
Well, Army, misery loves company. Plenty of company in round one. Lyle Hancock, the driver of the Gravedigger panel truck, also had trouble in round one, going up against Kirk Dabney's Nightmare. Now watch the problem in the far lane.
The soft track, as soon as these big tires grab, the track is soft. I showed you in the opening, and the vehicles are darting left and right. Now, Dabney, he could be the best kept secret here today. The Gravedigger, he's another guy that had problems. But
also in round one, when John Moore did have some problems at the starting line, he lined up in the far lane against Lyle Hancock in the Gravedigger. But the red lights showed that Lyle Hancock knocked John Moore advancing to round two.
Now, Moore had problems with the HPX no-problem vehicle. The suspension, they're still trying to get it down in.
Great crowd on hand. Mother Nature has been very good to us down here on the Gulf Coast this weekend. There is a look at the popular Gravedigger, the 1950 Chevrolet panel truck. Lyle Hancock out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina.
Well, Gary, following John Moore's red light in the first round, Hancock still had to make the call and make a run in order to get a time to determine what lane he'll go in the next round in the Gravedigger monster truck.
Yeah, and he'll be taking the fast loser on from round one. That would be the Carolina Crusher with Gary Wiggins. Of course, Gary really pressed Andy Brass in round one. In fact, he had the nose up in the air doing that wheelie across his finish line. Had the nose been down, he may have knocked out Andy Brass. There's a good look at Gary. The Carolina Crusher, he takes on Lyle Hancock, the near lane in Gravedigger.
Both drivers are going to attack that line. Hancock figured it out. Look at the bounce.
Well, a problem over there with Gary Wiggins. It's all Lyle Hancock, but Obviously a major problem with the Carolina Crusher right at the starting light. And looking very dejected, unloading the cockpit is Gary Wiggins.
Yeah, but on the other side of the slate, that Gravedigger truck is looking good. Hancock is driving rascal. Watch the bounce it takes. See, its wheels up and tags down and flies.
Well, let's go pit side with Army Armstrong, find out what happened to Gary
you get out
Wiggins.
to the final four here. None of these are guys like street fighters. Nobody's afraid of the guy in the other lane. Everybody's just going to put it on kill. Hancock comes out in the Kill Devil Hill Base 50 Chevrolet, motor located to the rear. Chevrolet fans will be pulling for him, one of the most popular trucks out there. But you know, very quickly gaining popularity is this truck. The motor mounted to the front. Snake bite, kind of the mystery guys of the sport, Gary, but only one of them is going into the final. Which one's it going to be?
You get that Ford product and a 1950 Chevy panel truck. Two of the most popular trucks really on the entire circuit, especially with the kids.
Oh, sure. You know, every kid in the world, yours and mine included, you got toys in these vehicles. And t-shirts and hats. And who's going to go to the next round, Gary? Check it out.
Woo, snake bite perhaps? No, we're being told it is the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger by only inches. Oh, we'll have to take another look.
Looks like the red light bandits going into the final. The big question is who's going to be going against.
It is side by side as they drill that light into no man's land, still side by side. Second set of cars, and only by inches right there, it is Lyle Hancock in the Gravedigger.
Well, Lyle, we know your half of the final is going to be you. Does it make any difference who you go against, the GMC or the Ford, in the final?
Yeah, it makes a difference to me. I've been wanting to get against Bigfoot all year long, and then tell you what, the guy's the toughest one there is in the whole crowd to run against, as far as I'm concerned. And nothing would make my year better than end it by beating Bigfoot.
Well, there's exactly what he wants. So let's see. Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Remember you said?
Water, yeah.
You take out Snake, I take out Snake.
Yeah, you heard Lyle say, I took out Snake.
Yeah, now what? Well, I hope you guys are going to be this friendly. Lyle, come over. Hope you guys are going to be this friendly when the final's over, because the crowd is staying around to see it. It's almost like a dream come true. You're not supposed to be here. And you said if you could just get to the final, you'd thump them all. So they're all going to go on the table in just a minute, boys.
Well, Army, you know, we're real happy to be here in the finals, and we feel like this is just a dream come true, and that's all we can say. You know, we hope we beat Gravedigger, but even if we don't, we've done 110% today, took Bigfoot out, took some of the big guys out, and that's enough.
Okay, how do you guys feel in the Gravedigger camp now?
And I tell you what, I mean, he said it all. If that isn't about as basic as you can get, I don't know what is. I love it.
Tell you what, boys, it's time to go to war. We'll see you out there.
All that's left to be
There
said
they
is
are.
we are ready for the final Nightmare. The GMC and the Gravedigger, the 1950 Chevy panel truck.
Can you come up with any more appropriate names than Nightmare and Gravedigger when you're doing a final in the swamp? It's almost an eerie feeling down here at this beautiful facility. But this is what the people have paid to see. The finals are here.
Well, Kirk Dabney has been here before in the finals with Nightmare, but never before has Lyle Hancock been in the finals with Gravedigger. We have seen Dennis Anderson in Gravedigger
exactly
finals,
right.
but never Lyle Hancock.
So both drivers want this in a big, big way. Keep seeing that TCI decal come up. These are the guys that come up with the racing transmission that's starting to hold all this horsepower. They've done work on drag strips for years, but this is a whole different ball game, and they figured something out that'll hold these behemoths down.
Well, keep in mind, both these drivers are here on the basis of a mild upset by knocking out both Snakebite and by knocking out Bigfoot.
Yeah, but, you know, you got to go to the top some way, and whoever you got to crawl over to get there, that's what you got to do. Look where they're lining up. The track is actually rutted right on a starting line. No excuses. Everybody goes with everything.
Lyle Hancock, a hard landing, though, at the finish line, but Lyle Hancock takes the victory, but an excellent showing by Kirk Dabney
Let me
there
tell
in
you
Nightmare.
something. Yeah, this kid is good. He's going to make a name for himself. Hancock sustained some damage. Yeah, you can see one of the 4 link bars coming down off of the Gravedigger, but look at here. For the fans, he's going to make a victory lap for them. These guys are very fan-oriented. That's part of the mystique and the success of the Gravedigger.
One more look now, side by side. In fact, it looks like Kirk Dabney may have the advantage right there, but look at all the horsepower as the victory goes to Lyle Hancock and the Gravedigger. A hard landing as he's coming right at you with a victory salute. You can see the suspension damage.
Yeah. Well, he's got to be tickled at it. He's a good man. And the people down here, they love it too. This is what the sport's coming to. The drivers and the trucks develop personalities. Pick your favorite pull point.
Well, I'm sure he'll take the additional work required to fix that truck because it resulted in a victory here in Naples, Florida. And there you can see the damage, but let's go down and talk to Lyle.
Well, congratulations, but man, you paid a price, but they loved every second of it, brother.
Tell you what, like I've said before, them people in them grandstands are the most important thing to me. And if winning and doing what we got to do to get there to make them people happy, that makes me happy, and we're all better off that way.
I'll tell you what, you got to be a happy camper. You've done a fantastic job. I know Dennis Anderson did a great job when he picked you to go into that seat, and believe me, you're a hero in every kid's eyes up there. Once again, congratulations, a super race.
Thank you very much, and I want to say a special thanks to my sponsors, good people at Cower and Goodyear. I mean, we got so many people that are standing behind us and helping us here, and I just want to say thank you for everybody, and you, the people, thank you very much.
And Lyle, we say to you, congratulations on your first ever win here on Trucks and Tractor Power in the Gravedigger. Although it was not without problems. Look at the bent right rear shocks and suspension damage, but all that carried him to victory lane here at Florida Sports Park in Naples. So the fans are leaving, and Army, if you will, on the way out to the rental car, would you?
Too much air, the truck doesn't settle down, and they're not set up for the second ramp. So according to Andy Brass, you got to use this right here and not just that right foot when you get the green light at the starting line.
Here's a look at a qualifying time. The quick qualifying today of Lyle Hancock and the Gravedigger, who offered us a textbook example of how to put the horsepower to the ground. His qualifying time of a 4.367 showed us just how much bike it was on the starting line, Gary. As you said, they're sticking the horsepower to the ground in the Hoosier Dome.
Well, the racers like this track configuration. They like the track consistency this evening. There's a look at Hancock alongside Jack Willman Jr.
Again, a wheels-up start showing that the horsepower will be able to be used here this evening. Both trucks landing awfully weird, Gary.
Yeah, both had hard landings, but I think the worst
will over on this guy. Gary Wiggins is a hired gun. Gary Porter, normally the driver of the truck and still is the owner, but he has hired Wiggins to come to the Hoosier Dome to try to shoot these bad boys down, and believe me, that is not going to be an easy task.
So we have the Gravedigger with Lyle Hancock, the 1950 Chevy panel wagon, one of the most popular trucks on the circuit, alongside Gary Wiggins and the Carolina Crusher.
Both drivers working the lights are going into the lanes.
Good in-cockpit view of Gary Wiggins.
As soon as the truck moves, he shifts the transmission.
Oh, and he's in trouble.
Whoa.
He almost rolled over. He hit one of the ramps there. We have a motorcycle show as well here in the Hoosier Dome tonight with a ramp jump, and he hit the takeoff ramp. So he was well out of control, out of shape there as he landed, but it was all Lyle Hancock. And I tell you, this guy is really coming on strong.
Yeah, he's making a name. The truck has always had a name for itself. Hancock is making his name as a driver, and he's a good one. Again, Gary, notice the wheels-up start. Definitely an advantage on short courses like this.
But it was on the landing that Wiggins got in trouble, had to hang on there. It gets very slick over there on the concrete when they get off that dirt. One more look now coming right at you. There is Gary Wiggins in the near lane, and you can see that it's all Lyle Hancock in the far lane, but right there he gets in trouble.
Yeah, once he gets off the dirt, the concrete really could be the worst thing in the world because it's a little bit slippery. But the winner of that round, the Gravedigger, had some problems of his own. Now, Gary, I understand you're down in the pit area with him, and I understand a tire may be the problem.
Well, there's no time for an interview right now because Lyle, although he won that round, has cut a tire. He's now doing some patchwork. The fast qualifier, the Gravedigger, Lyle Hancock, now trying to patch the left front tire.
Well, Gary, we could be building a little bit of drama here tonight. Will he be able to make the call? We don't know. We do know the snake
truck
bite.
worked good in the left lane. It's working good in the right lane. You know, the Ford's pushing me through. It's going to put me in the winner's circle.
Well, I tell you what, if he's going to the winner's circle, this is what he's got to look forward to. Lyle Hancock and Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger, they seem to be holding a hot hand all weekend long. As a matter of fact, the Gravedigger has looked especially strong tonight. Earlier, Gary asked him about it.
You have to be impressed with how this
panel wagon is handling down here in no man's land. You're able to settle the chassis, you pick up the throttle, and hook up the horsepower.
We spent a lot of time working on that chassis right there. I mean, as far as the truck's 2 years old, but we updated the chassis portion of it where the suspension works really well. Last weekend was the first weekend out for it, and as you can see, it's working really well.
Well, Gary, they say it's just like an old penny. It just kind of keeps coming back to you. Scott Stevens is staying alive, but this could be the kiss of death for him. Keeps coming back to that quick loser bracket, Gary.
Well, this could be his night, though. He has been fast. He comes from that left lane. The right lane is the lane of choice, and that is where Lyle Hancock will do business. And it's going to be, well, Hancock looks like he may have gone out of bounds.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait for a call from the MTRA people on that. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Stevens, we do have a little drama building. He has just blown out the right rear tire, Gary.
Coming right at you now. Stevens the right lane. Lyle Hancock the left lane. Lyle wins it, but he's disqualified for landing out of bounds. Right here, he's out of bounds.
Gary, you're exactly right. The rule book says all 4 tires have to go to the finish line. That wasn't the case there. He bounced out a little bit on the right side. So that's why you make a rule book. You got to live and die by the rule book. Hancock will go on the trailer. But right now, it looks like there may be something else taking place as a little drama starting to build.